see if it works. It might not.
Okay.
But we're gonna try. All right, guys, everybody put on your record face. We are good to go.
It says you're streaming live on Facebook.
Well, it says a lot of things, my dear. Sometimes it is correct.
I have to go change my shirt. I'm not in record mode.
I feel like it doesn't matter. Yep, we are recording. So look at that. All right, guys. I'm going to hit record and then we're going to start. Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Magic Weekend here at Ladies Power Lunch, and we are so blessed to be graced with the presence of Lori, who is going to share with us today about how we can find our geographical soulmate. I don't want to take any time away from Lori because what she has to share with us is so important. And I would love for you all to really get the full benefit of the time she has to share with us. So, Lori, may I invite you to share with us who you are, what it is you do, and to just take it away. The show is yours.
Yes, thank you, Davia, for inviting me, and thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I would like to briefly go around and have people say who they are, and maybe one word that came to mind for you when you heard the term geographical soulmate. So maybe, Davia, we can start with you.
Okay, so hi, everybody. I'm Davia. I tend to host Ladies Power Lunch once in a while. And when I heard geographic soulmate, I thought I really need to be living closer to the beach somewhere. That was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Thank you. I thought of you either beach or cruises. So, yeah. Christy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christy Charles, and I am Lori's sister. And I decided to join you today when I heard the topic. And I'm with Davia. I put myself at a beach, or my dream is a log cabin overlooking mountains and water of some sort. So it's great to be here with all of you.
Thanks, Christy. Audra, you're next.
Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm Audra Micah, and I am excited to talk about this topic. And the words that came up for me were peace and Boston and DC. And one of my dream locations would definitely be in a vibrant cultural city.
Okay. Thanks, Audra. Lisa.
Hi, my name is Lisa Dunford Dickman. I live east of Houston, Texas, and the words that came up for me when I was thinking about this were both water and big sky.
Thanks, Lisa. Starting to see a theme here. Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and the word that came up for me was Italy when I first heard it. The beach, and for me, it's like, well, duh, beach. Like that's just like, there's no doubt that I'll be near the beach. But Italy was what came up for me.
Thanks, Hannah. Marianne, how about you?
Hi, I'm Marianne Pack. For me, it was sort of like, was it Audra, one of the ladies said peace. That's what I thought. Peacefulness, peace. And for me, it's mountains, rivers, lakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely some theme of water. Akanke.
Hello, everyone. I'm Akanke Rashid. And when I just found out about the workshop today, and when I heard geographical soulmate, I thought, huh? That's what came up for me. And then I thought later, okay, this might mean have something to do with where I want to live or where I should be living. And I immediately thought of Grenada. I am blessed to already have dual citizenship there. So I'm just trying to get myself there so I can actually live there.
Thanks, Akante. Olivia.
Well, I will abound in the water part, and more of that is open and light. These are the words, nature. Yeah.
Thanks, Olivia. Nicole.
Yes. The first thing that came to my mind was the beach and just being in DR. It's something about water that's just very calming and very relaxing.
Yeah.
So that's where I saw myself.
Thank you, Nicole. Lorraine.
I'm with Akanke. I had no idea, but the more I listen, I'm in agreement with everybody. The beach, I'm thinking about a European river cruise, just some peaceful place to get away.
Yeah. Thank you, Lorraine. And last but not least, Mina.
Yeah, so I would say same thing, tropical islands, just like my picture behind me.
Yeah.
I'm a huge lover of the beach, and it's always very peaceful and calming. But it also reminds me of my uncle, because when he had passed on several years ago from cancer, we took his ashes to the beach. That's something in Hinduism, which is where my family's from India. So it always just brings back memories, and
Yeah.
always positive memories.
Huh. Yeah. So lots of beach, calmness. And just want to check in. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. And wanted to share with you a little bit about my own story in finding my geographical soulmate. And it is a phrase that I've coined. I have not found it anywhere out there, but it's really based on my own experience and my own journey that has been about a 15-year journey for me, as to finding that place where I felt that my heart and soul called me, and what that process was like and what has become possible because of it. And so today, we'll be talking about that and how you can find yours, and how ready are you to actually move there, go there, and what steps can you take if you're not quite ready to jump on it now, to get closer. So just a couple of things that I'll be sharing about pictures. Some of you have seen these and heard my story, but this cactus on the left-hand side was a cactus I purchased for myself as a birthday gift last July, and it has grown tremendously. I had no idea about anything related to cactus and cacti, and so I'm learning. And about 2 weeks ago, it formed these 3 arms, and these arms became huge. And so I was just waiting to see what was going to happen, because I had not ever seen that before. And the week of Easter was a critical week for me. On that Monday, my divorce became finalized after being married for 32 years. And I kept saying to my guardian angels and source, I'd love to have whatever's going to happen to this cactus happen on Easter. And so when I woke up Easter morning, what you see are those 3 flowers. That's what happened. They bloomed, and they only lasted for 24 hours.
Wow.
And now what's happening is that those arms have now shrunk and they're starting to fall off. And so what I took from that experience is a couple of things. And one was kind of rebirth, renewal, which has been a theme of my journey over the last 15 or so years, as well as kind of looking at the 3 flowers as past, present, and future, and being able to honor all 3 equally. And so that's just part of my journey, and for me being in my geographical soulmate location. So this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, again, kind of what is the geographical soulmate, do a brief visualization, give you an opportunity to capture the learnings from that, and then share that with each other. And then also at the end, really talk about, so what is at least one intentional, bold action that you would like to take to get you closer? So to me, the geographical soulmate is that geography, and it could be one, it could be many, that you really feel like your heart and your soul is calling you to. Where when you are there, you feel calm. You feel the things that you're talking about in your introductions. You feel grounded. You feel like your voice is stronger and louder, and you feel connected to the earth. Where your energy is at such a high vibrational level, and you feel like you're your most authentic self. Where you might feel that people are like drawn and attracted to you. They want to know you. They want to know what you stand for. And those have just been some of the experiences that I've had being in my geographical soulmate and having a relationship. And for me, that happens to be Arizona. So a little bit about my story, and what I'd like is for you to listen and see what you can resonate with. And really my calling to the desert has been about a 15-year journey. And it started when I first visited my then spouse's family. And my initial reaction to Arizona was it's too brown, it's too hot, it's too dry. But what I found is that every single time I came back, I didn't want to leave. And I kept being more and more drawn to what I felt, what I experienced, and the connectedness. And so as you're kind of thinking today about your geographical soulmate, those are some of the things that we'll be paying attention to. There were lots of things that happened throughout my journey related to Arizona. I mean, I purchased a lot that was going to be built on. Unfortunately, we had to fire our builder. It never happened. And next Friday, we actually close on selling that property. So what I thought was going to happen never did. But when I look at it, that action is what brought me here. So I'm honoring some of the decisions that I made that didn't turn out exactly the way I thought, but they were part of my journey. And I think as I've adjusted to this calling and being in this place that has provided so much to me, I had started out being like that woman on the left-hand side there, all this armor that I needed to peel away, becoming more vulnerable, listening more to my heart and soul. And now I kind of compare it, and Olivia and I had a conversation this week, compare it to being like this lone wolf, being independent, fiercely independent, to now what I'm calling kind of like the playful dolphin, very curious, very collaborative, kind of giddy, almost mystical, magical. And all of that is some of what's been possible with forming this relationship with my geographical soulmate. Here's just a picture of some of the sunsets that are here that are just amazing. And I realized for myself what weather was doing. And I was allowing weather to dictate my actions, my behaviors, my feelings, my moods, all of those things. And I realized in Arizona, that's not even an issue. So again, kind of thinking about your own, geographical soulmate. What is it that's important to you? And one of the things I've experienced when I've seen these sunrises and sunsets is just the word unworldly comes to my mind, and that's been my experience. I was able in last September to do a photo shoot that was trying to capture some of the Southwestern vibe. And again, what it allowed me to take a look at is being more free, being more at ease, comfortable in my own skin, and leaving a frenetic pace. And just being open to seeing things differently. Little bit about the little guy in the right-hand side. It's a baby owl. I see all kinds of things as I walk the lake every morning by my house. And it had been living in a backyard and just was trying to fly and couldn't yet. And it was a way of bringing a variety of people together, and it created this community that was amazing, just trying to save this little baby owl. Couple of other things before we get into the visualization. Some of what I've experienced, which I'm sure you have too, and will more so when you engage in this kind of relationship with your geographical soulmate, is that there's times where you might experience things that you have to like do a double take. Like this is one of my huskies, Klondike, and to see a husky sitting in, 90, 100 degree weather in a desert, just like having fun and being peaceful. There were a few days where there was this fog that everything seemed like it was almost like a mirage. It was, and then people, just relaxing in these hammocks in the middle of palm trees. So another piece is kind of what can you experience when you are engaged in this type of a relationship. And for many of you, that I also, contributed to the Ladies Power Lunch, 2 of the anthologies. And it was a way for me to start to describe and explain kind of what I've been experiencing as I've had this new relationship. So it's just to share with you some of my journey, some of what's become possible with me, kind of how it feels. And I'm hoping that many of you who I interact with on somewhat of a regular basis have seen some of the benefit, my energy level, my engagement, and just really wanting you to know that all of this is available for each of you as well. Akanke.
So I missed the part of you transitioning into your geographical soulmate place.
Yeah.
You can't leave that part of the story out. So when did you get there? Like, where were you before? And
yeah. So I grew up in the Chicago area and then moved to Maryland and was in Maryland for about 25 years. And then moved to Arizona last June. And the calling for me to move was it became stronger every year, but it never felt like it was the right time until the pandemic last year. And so as I was making a variety of different personal and professional changes, it just was the right time and everything fell into place. From selling my house in 7 days after it went on the market during a pandemic, moving with my then, spouse, doing everything together, collaborating, but then being separated, finding a house by looking at something online through Zoom that fits everything perfectly. I mean, so it was just everything was sourced. It came together. Yeah.
Great.
Any other questions or comments or things that are coming up for you now before we go into the visualization? And if you do, you can certainly just unmute yourself as well. Okay. So to get us into kind of the right frame of mind and grounded, what I'd like to do is have you go ahead and get comfortable with where you're sitting. Make sure that your feet are securely on the floor. You can certainly close your eyes if you'd like to, and really start to pay attention to your breathing. And what I'd like to do first before we do the guided visualization is to play this mantra that I think will help us to get there. So let me just pull it up quickly. And once I start this, if you can, someone can just, maybe Akanke, give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. I release control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me.
So as we work through this guided visualization, you know, again, you can certainly keep your eyes closed or you don't have to, whatever is the most comfortable for you. But I'd like you to, first of all, think of your favorite place or places. These could be places that you visit. These could be places that you would like to live. And as you're envisioning these locations, where is it? Like, what do you see there? What are the sights? What are the smells? What are the colors? Who's with you in this little place of paradise? What are you wearing? What are you doing? What types of conversations are you having there? What is your energy level? When you're in these irresistible places, how is your self-confidence? What about your level of self-love? What buried treasures have you found there? And what others might be waiting for you? What messages is your geographical soulmate providing to you? Do you currently live in this location? If not, when was the last time that you visited? What possibilities does this place offer for you? When you're in your geographical soulmate, how is your relationship with yourself different? What about the relationship with others? Can you see yourself doing work and holding your business in this location? And if so, how different are you in your business when you're operating from this source place that your heart and soul called you to? So just take a few moments and actually bask in the feeling of this place. Take it all in. Don't worry, you can return soon. So pay attention to your breathing. And as we re-enter this room and prepare to share our experiences with each other, feel the chair that you're sitting in. Feel your feet grounded on the floor. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to the room. So what I'd like to invite you to do at this point is go ahead and pull out whatever it is that you want to write on. And just jot down what your experiences were. What did you see? What did you feel? What messages were you receiving? How are you feeling now? And does anyone need any additional time? And I want to acknowledge, I see that Tiffany has joined us as well. What I'd like to do is go ahead and give you an opportunity to share, you know, what your experience was, what you wrote down. Who would like to go first? Hannah?
Yeah, I'll share. So mine that came to mind immediately was Calabria, which is southern Italy. And it's actually where I went and spent 3 months in culinary school. And the whole experience was just like, it was so beautiful. Like it was up on a hill with views of the sea and mountains, with like different sunsets every night, and sunrises. And I actually, I'm not a tattoo person, but I did get a tattoo there. And it says Dolce Vita, which means sweet life. And the reason I got it was to remind myself, like, this is how sweet life can actually be. Like, it really set the bar for how I want to live, like, the rest of my life, like, which was limitless. It felt like there.
Cool. When you think about the possibility of being there, how does that feel?
It feels so fun. For a visit. I don't think I could live there, but I've visited like already 3 times since then. So, which is like once a year I kind of go, except last year.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share? Audra.
So at first, I couldn't answer any of your questions because I didn't have a visual. And then I gave myself permission to just enjoy the quiet meditation and not feel pressured for an image to appear.
Yeah.
And the first thing and then when I relaxed, I suddenly felt a breeze and I felt like I was outside and it was dusk. It was just before sunset. And the weather was beautiful. And I tried to push for Boston. I tried to push for certain places. And I landed in North Carolina and Alexandria, Virginia, and DC. And, you know, so if you're in DC, you're in Alexandria, Virginia. It's so close.
Yeah.
And I remember when I lived down there, I purposely didn't visit the North Carolina beaches because I knew I'd be moving back home to New York in the Northeast. And I didn't want to see something so beautiful and then never get back there. And then once I was back in the Northeast, I did take one trip down to Wilmington, North Carolina. And the sand is like white sugar. It's just beautiful. So I thought that was interesting because I definitely see myself there and it's completely doable. And the weather is beautiful year round. And I'm going to plot and plan for that while my boys are finishing their growing up time.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you were in some ways trying to force it, but then when you just let it go, then things started to, you know,
Well, I thought
to be shown to you.
North Carolina came up, and then I pushed for South Carolina, and then it said no. So okay, and I love road trips, so it'd be possible to have DC and North Carolina. They're so much closer to each other than.
Yeah.
I'm in Connecticut now, so it's much farther away.
Yeah. Neat. Who else would like to share? Lisa.
So I currently live in a pretty amazing place. We live on a river east of Texas, and there's just, you sit on our couch and all you can see is water. It's amazing. And I think part of that was born out of a dream when I lived south of Alexandria, Virginia. I rented a room from a friend who lived on the Potomac River. And every morning I got to wake up and watch the sunrise just over the water. And somehow, without meaning to, I have recreated that in Texas. But the sun does rise over our river here too. And it's wonderful and I love it. And when I started the visualization, there were like conflicting images. So I love water, but then I had like a brief vision of the rocky seashore of like Crete, of Greece, and the Mediterranean blue below. Or then I also love the dry rocky areas near you, Lori, in southern Utah, where I used to write about them a lot. So I used to travel through them quite extensively. And there is just an open feeling to them for me, that when I'm driving through land that just seems so raw, like the earth just laid bare, where you can see all the processes and it's not lush, it's not green. You really see kind of the earth at its most elemental. And there was something about that really resonated for me. So I actually saw kind of a number of places, and I thought of that as conflicting, but maybe it's not really. Maybe that's like different places nurture your soul.
Yes.
And you can travel and spend time in those places.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Who else would like to share? What was your experience like? Marianne and then Christy.
Thanks. Mine was so many times in meditation. I just love the small mountain range. It's the Boston Mountain Range in Arkansas, and it's along the Buffalo River, which is the first national river in the United States that was designated a national river. And you know, it's the closeness of them. And in between Missouri, I'm from Missouri, but I've lived in Texas for most of my life. But the mountains have a lot of crystals in them. So there are a lot of caverns, you know, tucked away places that are so, you know, it's that mountain with the inside for enlightenment. It's a place to hide away. It's, you know, your intuition. And every time we go there, I just feel so drawn. And we've looked at it several times about, you know, moving there, and we just haven't made that move yet because all of our kids are in Texas. And, you know, as they start having families and things, it's like, do I want to be 8 hours away from them, kind of thing. But, you know, just seeing retreats there and, you know, in the calmness of those mountains and the river, the Buffalo River is so pretty. And I wrote a blog one time about, you know, the flow of water, that just to remind me that to stay in the flow, because water always finds a way around, over, under, or through obstacles. You know, when you look at a rapids, that water doesn't stop at the rapids and go, oh my gosh, there's rocks, you know.
Yeah.
It'll find a way to go, and, you know, to stay in the flow. And it's just it's so invigorating and beautiful. Yeah. The sunrises and sunsets over the mountains, and it's so sparsely populated. You know, the little town of Jasper is so small. I think it's in that 1400 range. You know, the county just is not populated. So when you look out over the mountains, if you're at a cabin, the cabin that we typically go to, the mountain, you know, the valley, you're looking down the valley and up the other side, and you may see in all of this mountain area that you can see in your visual, 5 lights might be houses, because it's so, that's the highest I've ever counted, so it's not populated. So
Yeah.
just a perfect place to, have retreats and work and write and just a beautiful feeling. Yeah.
So for those of you who do know Marianne, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing right now, but Marianne, I mean, just your face, your facial expressions, like there is this like beaming.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, sometimes when I close my eyes in meditation, I barely get my eyes closed and take a few breaths, and just the feeling of that area comes over me. It's just so I don't know, that may be that calling, or so anyway, we'll see. It feels really good to go up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christy.
Well, I actually drew a picture, but you're not going to be able to see it because my colors are really, can't find too many colors. They're really light. But like Lisa said, one of my pictures is one that I want to travel to. And the other one is a place where I'd like to live. My traveling Lori is well familiar because it was one of her favorite places too, is our family would go to Sanibel Island, Florida, which is off the Gulf Coast of Fort Myers. And my mom and dad had a place there that we would go every summer, and would be 2 weeks out of the summer because we were all teachers, or most of us were teachers or had the summers off. So we would go there. Since then, my husband and I, we have a boat or wave runners, so we would drive them up there. So I got him excited to go there as well. With COVID at all, the last couple of years, we have not gone there because of the challenges of getting there. But now we've sold my mom and dad's place because they both passed away within a few years of each other. So hopefully we'll return back to there again, because that's a place where I don't do anything. I sit there by the water in my little chair and I walk. I don't move. I don't read a book. I do listen to music. I pretty much watch for my dolphin to go by, the turtles to swim out. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. If you haven't gotten to go there, definitely would be a place I'd want to travel to. I am not like Lori. I do not like the heat all the time. So to live there, 12 months out of the year, I don't think I could do that. Plus it's very, very expensive there. So I know I couldn't afford that. Where I want to live has always been a dream of mine. A log cabin. I think Marianne, you just kind of hit it on the nail. Just with the lake and the view, but I also want mountains. So those have to be there as well. So I don't remember, Lori, when I went, but we actually drove to the Smokies, and that's the picture that I have. I have a picture of a video of us coming down the interstate highway, and just that view. No, I don't want my log cabin on the interstate, but I do want that view. I want the mountains down there in the view, and the lake, and then just a little log cabin. So maybe Tennessee, I don't know. I know it's a lot cheaper there as far as taxes and all. So I think maybe that might be a place where we'd like to look at. But I also have roots here, lots of nieces and nephews, one that's here. I'm surprised she hasn't popped in yet. She's in watching her little video. So that's keep holding me here. But there are changes in that as well with them moving. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I have both places in mind, a travel place and a place I would like to live.
Thank you, Christy. Who else would like to share? Olivia.
I don't have any definite place that were nailed, because I have elements that I cannot really resolve, and also that feeling maybe I haven't traveled enough to have met that place. The contradiction is that I do know I feel better with a bit more of warmth. I'm living in Sweden. But on the other hand, this winter we had a real winter, and I so enjoyed the snow and the ice. So there is this, but the main part, I'm better when I can have less clothes on me and go bare feet and and then just this feeling that, well, in the high percentage where I am is just perfect, because I have a lake nearby. It's enough a small population that I can bathe naked. So I have that kind of freedom of, it's wild enough and still a wild that I know, so that I'm feeling safe into. And then, and picture when you were guiding about working or who I would have around me, then that there is this place where I have a beautiful seminar room with greens and somewhere I can really have people immerse themselves and connect to both to nature and to each other in different ways. So there is a feeling that, yeah, it's another climate. It's not South France because I have family there. I love the warmth that just calm me down, and but it's too dry. I have a, yeah, I need more water, so to say. So yeah, so but it's interesting to explore that feeling.
Yeah. Well, and I think, what I'm hearing from all of you is that some of you have thought about it more than others. Some of you have experienced, more places than others. But I think, one of the things for me, especially during COVID, was to really realize that life is short, and work can possibly be done in so many different places. And, if there is this possibility of a place or places that really feed your soul and your energy, why not go? So it's something to think about and explore. And anyone else want to share what came up for you during the visualization? Akanke.
Yeah, so Grenada, West Indies is the place that always comes up for me. As I mentioned, I have dual citizenship that I just got within the past 6 months or so that finally came through. I love the views there. The land that I have there has an ocean view, and it's really wonderful. I also noticed there's a little bit of friction or timidness. And part of it is because my late husband passed away there. And also the roads are very narrow there. And sometimes I feel like I could have an accident on the road there. I've got this mixture of, oh my God, this is so amazing. And, ooh, this is tender, And I have lots of friends there who really love me and love my husband. There's a conflict also because I did remarry, and that's a conflict for him. So I've got to work through, I've got to honor myself. I will just put it that way. And so there's this big pull to be there, and I'm working on that. And I'm just aware also of some sensitivities and, just kind of being in both of those spaces,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an amazing, beautiful island, and lots of rich experiences there. And and I really want to be back there. I visited maybe 2 months ago for almost a month, and that was great. And And part of the reason I went at that time was to make sure, okay, Akanke, is this what you're supposed to do? And so, yeah, the answer is yes. And it takes a lot of deep breaths because I'll be there by myself, basically, you know, and I probably will not stay married. So,
Wow.
and that's not, there's a whole story behind that too, because
Yeah.
I heard no and I said yes.
Right. Right. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Akanke.
To the marriage, I mean, that's what I mean. I heard no and I said yes. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. Yeah.
Has anybody ever done that? Heard no? Yes.
Audra?
Oh, yes. And now I'm celebrating 2 years divorced this month.
Okay. Congratulations, Audra.
So I found the courage later.
Yeah.
To do what I didn't want to do at the time I heard the no.
Yeah.
So the courage comes when it's supposed to come.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have 2 beautiful boys that I adore.
Wonderful. And the lessons come with saying yes when you heard no. There were some lessons I needed to get through from that. And I've gotten some rich, amazing lessons. So I'm grateful.
Yeah. I think, Lisa, you raised your hand too.
But I agree that there were a lot of lessons in it too. And I think it's so beautiful, Akanke, that you can see that now, and that you can feel the push and pull between saying yes to the place you love and taking your next step. And that is brave and wonderful and difficult.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
And very scary at the same time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to share about your experience when we did the visualization or anything else related to this topic? Nicole?
Yeah. I saw myself in Jamaica with my sister, and we were on the beach and we were just talking and just how do you pronounce rekindling our sisterhood. And there was just a peace that just came over me, just very calming, very serene. It's funny, we had a conversation the other day about our passports, and I think it's time. I think it's time to, go. Well, my family's from the Caribbean. My family's from Barbados and Jamaica. So I have family all over the Caribbean. So for me, it's just to come home.
You're feeling the pull, kind of as talking about. Yeah. Where would you go first?
The beach. The beach is definitely my safe space. I could get in my thoughts. Just so many memories, so many good memories on the beach. Yeah.
I
need a vacation. think we all need a
Yeah, it
vacation.
sounds like yeah. Well, and it's so fascinating to me that so many times, the vacations are the places that end up being the place,
Right.
where people end up
Right.
then, staying at least for a period of time. And,
Yeah.
I when I think about this, kind of
Mhm.
concept of a geographical soulmate, I don't know that there's just one, and so I think as we
Right.
change and we grow and we have these journeys throughout our life, we may have different locations that provide us that same, feeling and groundedness and yeah. Anyone else like to share anything about the experience that you had through the visualization? Okay. Get back to sharing. So I wanted to share this with you as we are getting closer to the end of our time together. But I really love this. You must give birth to your images. They are the future waiting to be born. Fear not the strangeness that you feel. The future must enter you long before it happens. Just wait for the birth, for the hour of the new clarity. So as each of you were sharing, you were talking about experiences that you've had, experiences that you would like to have, what those possibilities might look like. And we don't always know what it's going to look like. And my experience has been is that if we try to figure it out logically, we don't necessarily follow what our heart and our soul are calling us to do and be. And so taking the time, which many of you talked about, and honoring yourself and your feelings and your experiences and allowing yourself to sit with that, and to really pay attention to what it appears that you're being called to do. And that it will get clearer, the more that we allow ourselves to do that. But sometimes it's slowing down the pace, finding that time where we can just be quiet and listen. And then at the same time, it's also this combination of then taking some fierce, bold action. So as you're thinking about kind of your experience through the visualization and what you've been, sharing with each other, is there anything that's coming to mind for anyone of a step, an action that you would like to take to help you to move a little closer to being experienced that geographical soulmate? Anything that anyone would like to share with each other? A step that you might want to take?
I can share a step that I'm taking, Lori.
Yes. Yeah, Kanke.
So next week, I'm going to sign the contract for the builder who's going to build a house on the land that I have there. And I'm going to send the first payment to him to break the gravel, to clear the land. And so that's the step I'm going to take.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Anyone else? A next step.
Lori, I just wanted to mention, I just so appreciate the messages from the ladies on even some of those things that hold us back, those kind of fears. You know, for me, it's the timidness about doing something like that would be, you know, the kids are all here, you know, all of Randy's children, my children are here, you know, yet it's like, but kids can move away. Why can't parents move away? You know,
Right.
why do we have to stay around? You can come see us, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's some of those things that we have to work through. It's almost like, you know, Randy and I've been talking since we've gone up there several years ago. You know, looking around, we actually went out with realtors and looked at different places. So we really kind of found some areas
Yeah.
that we liked, you know, that were kind of like our prime locations, that if we start looking seriously, that's where we would look. So at least we've kind of narrowed down some of those things. So those are some of the things that we have taken steps for. And even not too long ago, last month or so, you know, Randy and I talked, and he's like, I'm so ready to we're so ready to move, you know. So, you know, we'll probably talk about putting our farm up on the market, you know, in the next this next year or something, and
Yeah.
decide, you know. But it's just the other thing that holds me back is like, I don't want to leave Texas. You know, I worked so hard to get here.
Yeah.
This was like my vision was, you know, to live in Texas. So,
Yeah.
you know, and that's good, you know, and like you said, it could be for a season.
Yeah.
Maybe the end of that season and we're ready to blossom into something new. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's that feeling of responsibility to be here for the kids and, you know, that kind of thing that just makes me know that I'm not alone in these fears of stepping forward and you know, because I'm so proud of you for stepping out and just freaking moving to Arizona, you know. I love it. I love it. Thanks, y'all.
Well, and I think this is also when you take steps like this, it's not steps that you take on your own. I mean, there's always people to support you and, you know, encourage you. And many of you on this call have been those people, you know, for me. Yeah. But what I also have found too, at least for myself, is that once I paid attention, really listened, it was like then I couldn't not take that next step. It just, yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Next steps. And if I'm not seeing you and you're raising your hand or something, just go ahead and take yourself off of mute.
Lori.
Yeah, Hannah.
Now that you're living in your geographical soulmate, do you have any next steps?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me is it's my business.
Mm.
So everything else I think in my life, more from a personal standpoint, is really in alignment. And so my next steps really are really focused on my business and getting my business more in alignment. Yeah. So it is, I think, a continual journey. It's not you get there and then, you know.
I bet your business will, I feel like the location of whatever you're doing will like be very impactful in intentional ways.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Anybody else? Next steps.
I don't know. Now I want to go with Hannah to Italy and with Akanke to Grenada. I'm like, now I just want to visit everyone.
Right, right.
Should we set up a calendar for all the trips?
Mine as well, right?
Well, I'd like to add that I appreciate the fact that this doesn't have to happen immediately. If you have the gift of clarity, you can spend your time plotting and planning and preparing. And if you don't have the clarity, there's actually a few places you want to be, then you have just outlined possible vacation spots for you and maybe you and your family.
Yeah.
So it's opening up a whole new joy of traveling if you're not much of a traveler.
Yeah, absolutely, Audra. And I think as things are opening up more, I think now this is the year, to start experiencing some of that again, or for the first time. Yeah. So I wanted to share this card with you. This is a card that a friend of mine, Joy Goldman, gave me. She's a coach and an amazing photographer. And this is how I feel about the clients that I work with. And I also feel this way about this experience with all of you, having the ability, the honor, the privilege of interacting with women as they really look for, listen, and find who they are currently being and who they're becoming. And it's just such an amazing gift. So I want to thank all of you for being here today and being a part of this experience and conversation. And before you go, I actually have some gifts that I would like to give away. And what I have done is provided each of you a number. And I'm just using a random number generator. And the first gift is a signed copy of the Transformation 2020 book and journal, and then a coaching session to kind of go further and take a look at what do you want to do with this whole idea of geographical soulmate. So here's the numbers. Lisa's 1, Hannah's 2, Davia's 3, Marianne's 4, Akanke 5, Audra 6, Christy 7, Lorraine 8, Olivia 9, Nicole 10, Mina 11, and Tiffany 12. So let's see what happens here. So it goes to Lisa, number 1. Woohoo! The next is a signed copy of the Success in Any Season book, again with a coaching session to kind of see where you might want to go with the idea of a geographical soulmate. And that goes to number 3, Davia. I know you have a copy of that book already. The third one, some of you, I think, have experienced this with me, but it's the Essence Conversation, which is a combination of 2 sessions of discussions. And in the end, what you get is a list of 5 words that are really the culmination of your true authentic self that you can use in marketing materials or, in any way that you'd like, really kind of a way to create and generate this life that you desire and deserve. And I know Audra and a couple of people who have experienced that before, but let's see. Number 10. So that's Nicole.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I have one more, and that's another Essence Conversation. And that is for number 8, Lorraine.
Nice. She had to leave.
Okay. So I hope that this was helpful. Thank you for taking out a part of your Saturday to join all of us. And
Lori.
Davia, was there anything else that you wanted to say at the end? I know there were some technical difficulties, so I don't know if she's still on.
She said no, she doesn't want to say anything.
Okay. Thanks, Akanke.
Mhm.
All right. Well, have an amazing rest of your weekend. And for those of you who won some of the prizes, I will be in touch with you. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining with each other. And I'm sure that many of us will be in touch soon.
Thank you, Lori. Thanks, ladies. It was
Thank you.
fun.
Bye.
So much. Bye.
Thank
Great
you.
weekend.
Thank you all. Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.